Hey guys, it is Mark Coe for the 18th of September. I want to go over a couple things that we're seeing on the daily levels. As always, if you're interested in the daily levels, you can check them out, subscribe to them. They're levels that are delivered every morning and every evening for both the FX and the futures markets. So let's take a look at what the levels did today, Monday the 18th. So euro dollar we see. Euro dollar is capped by 1990 on the top and 1870 on the bottom. So euro really doesn't have much of a play today, just sits range bound. And of course, we had the exact sell level on Friday, 75 to 90, and that was the reaction we saw Friday sell level. So really good on Friday, not much doing today. Dollar CAD was interesting today. Dollar CAD had 2245 resistance. Again, these all come from the evening FX report. So we cover euro, dollar CAD, dollar yen, pound, and Aussie dollar. So I'm looking at dollar CAD now. Dollar CAD had 2245 as a resistance level. So you can see I've marked that here in red, and it had a sell zone. 2240 to 55, that's outlined in white. So it had two elements here as dollar CAD traded in just at around the 12 o'clock hour this morning, US time, on Monday. And you can see the reaction from that level, right? So this is what the screens looked like last night when we diagnosed those levels, and here's how it played out. So it's a great advantage to your trading day to have these levels and know how you're framing your day. Obviously, we don't know how it's going to close, but it's been a really good trade into it for the time being. Dollar yen. Dollar yen marks some time at the resistance levels, has not traded to either a buy or sell zone, but it's definitely marked time around resistance. We got a nice little tradable reaction early morning in dollar yen off of resistance number one, which was a 111.45. So 111.45 was resistance number one in dollar yen, and you can see that marked here. I have it highlighted here in red. So this is again is dollar yen. So here's your reaction as dollar yen trades into 111.45. Again, that was resistance number one. You got a 25-point reaction off of that level. Now you trade above it, and again, targeting resistance number two. But what we can notice is that support is not getting challenged, resistance is getting challenged. But again, this is how you're able to mark your screens up the night before. You're marking them up, and you know what levels to expect, some activity, some action. In the futures market, crude oil has been nice today. Been able to get a couple opportunities here, shorter term in crude oil. Both from the short side and the long side. Now, the long side was a shorter term trade in the sense that you really saw some difficulty covering shorts, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But here's what we saw in crude oil. So I just want to go over the levels. So the levels were 50.10 support and 49.60 support. You can see the low of the day was 49.68. 50.50 resistance. The high of the U.S. morning was 50.42. So we've locked 8 ticks in front of resistance, 8 ticks in front of support number two for our day. So let me show you this chart on a little faster time frame. That's a 1 hour. I'm just going to get down to something a little tighter, and let me show you how this worked. Now, this is all with the levels that I go over in the room on a morning call and what we kind of do live in the room every day. But I just want to show you kind of how it worked today. So I knew I was looking at this 49.98 level as we approach the pit open. Never got it at pit open. It was prior to pit open. So this was only for somebody that was early US hours. It traded right into that bottom edge. And what happened here, we were looking for a pullback in here. We just never got it. It traded 05, it traded 10. That was fine. But what did happen is crude stopped shy of this 50-50 resistance. It got capped with resistance up here in the 30s and 40s. So what that tells me from a level standpoint is that pressure keeps getting worked to the bottom side. The sellers are coming in at an earlier level, right? So if sellers are coming in earlier, what does that give you an indication of in terms of momentum and also pressure? It gives me the indication of downside momentum. And ultimately at the break, it allowed you this tap back right into this same zone to get short for the last bit. Now at the bottom, this is what I said I'd mentioned earlier. I was short down into this bottom and covering, and it was very, very difficult to cover those shorts. And because it was so difficult, and because I was sitting right on top of the 49.60 support, I just managed to take along with a pretty tight stop and was able to get that up run, which was nice. So this is traded shy of resistance into support number 2, rallied. But again, the levels have been very evident. And so using levels, right, using the breakdown level, the tap back, the failure to sustain the tap back, that gets you back to the long side of the trade. And that's what we're focused on, is in any time frame we're trading, who's controlling it, where are they controlling it from, right? Sellers controlled this earlier in the morning. Then they failed to sustain that. So this is just a big rejection of those lower prices. And the other component of this is that we have a bias sheet which we produce, which is great because it tells you a bit of a longer term look how you want to be focused in that market. So I know going into the day, going into the morning, I'm focused long side crude oil, right? This is the bias sheet. So crude oil takes a long side focus this morning, changes on the 18th of September. So I know I'm looking for long crude trades, right? I know that because of the bias, and this is the work I do beforehand. So keep at it, keep up the good trades. I hope everybody's having a great day, and we'll visit with you soon. Cheers.